This talk is what got me uninvited to like a dozen local bar associations back in 2012 and 13 when I was in the national CLE speaking tour with Microsoft and LexisNexis and LawPay and all them, because I'd go into these rooms of 100 lawyers and I would basically walk them through the conclusion that they were systematically embezzling money from their children. And rather than saying, wow, he's got a point, I never thought of it that way before, I need to change my ways and do better, they found it easier to just write, this guy's an asshole, how dare he shine a light on the truth of what I'm doing.
While RJon was away, Team RJon came to play. Well, the cat's out of the bag now, folks, but we're still here bringing you our favorite and most importantly, actionable insights to RJon's newest book, Profit First for Lawyers. We're going to help you accelerate your law firm's growth so that you can experience more profit in every aspect of your life. We're also going to be providing some behind-the-scenes footage at what it's really like to work with RJon Robbins. So, put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Karli, and today we're discussing a sensitive topic that I know many business owners struggle with. When you hear this episode, you may feel a little bit of a gut punch, or maybe a lot of a gut punch. If you feel that, please remember you're not alone. As a matter of fact, we have a clip we'll play at the end of the show of one of the lawyers who read Profit First for Lawyers and spoke about this exact topic and the changes she's making now to see a better future for herself and her household. Okay, without any further ado or disclaimer, let's get into it. Here's a clip from a conversation that RJon and I had in studio about using your household as a bank. Let's roll the clip. Can I ask a little bit, though? You mentioned that you need a status or a plan to retire the debt, especially if the creditor is your own household. Are you saying that it's fairly common practice for the creditor to be the owner's household?
Was that like a real question? Or are you just saying?
I'm actually like, is it like a loan like you would normally take out a loan?
Do you mean, are there hundreds and hundreds of thousands of small law firms, nay, small businesses everywhere that are basically borrowing money from the owner's own children? I could put this money into my kid's college account. I could put this money into the business. I could take this money out of the business and use it to pay off household debt, or I could incur more household debt and let it ride in the business. Yeah, there's tons of household credit tied up in a lot of these small law firms. And the problem is the owners of these law firms are basically systematically embezzling money from their families. You're not a lawyer, so I don't expect you to know the answer to this, but all the lawyers listening to this, at least those who do financial transactional work and white-collar criminal defense, know that the definition of embezzlement, and watch, I'm going to get it wrong so it's on the spot, but pretty sure that the definition of embezzlement is where you misappropriate money that's trusted to you. If I entrust you with property, if I give you this dollar, if I give you this money, and I say, go down to the store and buy me a gallon of milk, you're supposed to go down to the store and buy me a gallon of milk, right?
Yeah.
If you decide not to go to the store to buy me a gallon of milk and use the money instead to go to the liquor store or go to the track or something else, you have embezzled the money. It's not the same thing as stealing, it's embezzling. Stealing is when you weren't entrusted with it to begin with. Embezzlement is when you were entrusted with it. You get the distinction?
Yeah,
So your family entrusts you with the management of household resources, and you don't tell your household, you don't tell your family, I'm using the household resources to subsidize a whole bunch of clients who I haven't sent bills to or haven't put the hammer down to collect on the AR, or I'm using it to subsidize staff who I'm not holding accountable. So instead, I'm just going to keep funneling money out of the household into the business. That's called embezzlement. This talk is what got me uninvited to like a dozen local bar associations back in 2012 and 13 when I was on the national CLE speaking tour with Microsoft and LexisNexis and LawPay and all them, because I'd go into these rooms of 100 lawyers and I would basically walk them through the conclusion that they were systematically embezzling money from their children. And rather than saying, wow, he's got a point, I never thought of it that way before, I need to change my ways and do better, they found it easier to just write, this guy's an asshole, how dare he shine a light on the truth of what I'm doing.
Oof, right? I think this is a really important perspective shift for all business owners, not just lawyers. There have been times in my life where this insight would have been completely transformative and would have made all the difference. I hope it was impactful for you too. Okay, let's hear from law firm owner Nikita Wolf and her takeaways after discovering Profit First. Let's roll the clip.
So I need to implement Profit First because although I'm still open, business has been picking up exponentially this quarter because of the HTM principles. My systems are breaking, which is great. They're breaking in a good way. I'm rebuilding, but I need to implement Profit First because my business has constantly despite the growth, it's constantly just breaking even. I'm not paying myself anything. I did not pay myself anything. I think I tell a lie. I think I gave myself like $3,000 last year. I was living off of savings. I borrowed money from my family to kind of help me pay my living expenses. I had just bought a house right before I opened my firm. And so not knowing I was going to be opening my firm that early, I didn't earn any money last year. Whereas this year, the business is finally picking up. While it is important to funnel money back into the business, I need to learn that I am a business owner. And part of being a business owner means I need to pay myself as well. I cannot continue to scrounge together the funds necessary to pay my mortgage, to pay my bills, put food on the table. That money needs to be coming out of the business that I own rather than constantly this constant cycle of draining the savings accounts.
How will your life be different when you're able to pay yourself first?
After I pay myself first, I'm going to be able to relax and breathe a little bit. It's very, very stressful doing things the way I have been doing them. But by applying the principles in Profit First for Lawyers, I'm going to be able to not only pay myself a reasonable paycheck, be able to actually pay my bills out of my business instead of my savings account, but it's going to allow me to breathe a little bit and de-stress and take time to enjoy time outside of the business as well, which is something I simply can't do at this time.
This has been a bit of a heavy one, folks, but I hope you got a lot out of it. Remember, if you have any feedback or any additional questions, or if you'd like more information about how to get your law firm unstuck, send us an email at podcast@profitfirstforlawyers.com, and we'll respond directly. Stay tuned next time for more actionable insights to help you get more profitability in all areas of your life. We'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Profit First for Lawyers. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend. And buy your copy of the book at profitfirstforlawyers.com. Your future self will thank you for it. And we will see you next time.